What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning into this new video on Elvis is the Man. So I just want to comment a bit on some recent news that some of you have heard and some of you haven't. Taylor Swift just beat Elvis as most weeks on the #1 200 Billboard charts. So I want to add my comments on this because I've been reading what some people have been saying and some people's comments, and they're good comments, but nobody's mentioned this yet. Taylor Swift's whole career, which pretty much started from 2008 all the way till now, about 16 years later, her career has been solely devoted to music and focusing on music. Yeah, she did like some little movie roles, nothing too big. Elvis, starting in 1956, the year he became absolutely, totally famous in America and had his first #1 hit, since that day all the way up to 1969, so for 13 straight years, right when after Elvis hit it big, he put just as much, if not more, effort into his movie career, and his music career suffered. So Elvis had 31 weeks at #1. Taylor just beat him, and she has a lot of re-released albums, I might add. Not taking anything away from her. I do like her. She's probably one of my favorite female artists. I mean, I like all her songs. But don't you think if Taylor had devoted at least a good 10 years of her career to doing movies and just release soundtracks from those movies, her music career would have suffered greatly. If Elvis would have spent his whole time, because Taylor has devoted 16 years of her music career focused solely on music, if Elvis would have done a good 16 years, so we'll just say 1956 to 1972, can you imagine how much more success Elvis would have had in music? Talking about at least from 1963 to 1968, those were definitely the lost years. He had one #1 album, Roustabout, and then you have I think it was #3, Crying in the Chapel. He hardly charted songs in that time frame. So what I'm saying is, you have to look at this from that perspective. Elvis was like a dual artist, an actor and a musician. Elvis went hard for the first 4 or 5 years in music, and then went hard for the last 8 years, from 69 to 77. And then the last maybe 4 years, he had some significant health struggles. So Elvis' success is actually more incredible when you factor in those two variables. So even though I hate to read these type of things, like back all the way in the late 90s, early 2000s, they were like, Garth Brooks is the #1 solo artist. I'm like, oh, I would cringe, because I think of all the certifications from RCA that Elvis didn't get that he deserved, and you know how they don't count Elvis's stuff from like 1958 and back, so 56, 57, you know, it's just the RIAA, you know, did him wrong. Elvis is the greatest of all time, and I'll leave with this thought also. We're just talking about chart success. Do you think Taylor Swift could even hold a candle to Elvis performing live? He was so charismatic. The electricity and energy that Elvis brought to his live show, nobody could even come close to. Maybe Michael Jackson, somewhat close. So it is a bit of a letdown that Taylor was able to do it. She had 16 uninterrupted years, unlike Elvis.